Assalamu alaikum viewers, you are watching Al Caliph TV. Kyrgyzstan's acting president may seek constitution change to run for full term. Kyrgyzstan's new acting president Sadir Japarov, who came to power last week in a popular uprising, may run for a full term if the country amends its constitution to allow it. Russia's TASS news agency quoted him as saying on Monday. The Central Asian nation's constitution bars caretaker presidents from running in the elections they oversee. Japaro took over as acting president last week after unrest toppled his predecessor Sarunubay Jinkubu's government. Rape cases, prosecutors must discount sex messages. Prosecutors in rape cases in England and Wales need to be aware of changing sexual behavior in the digital age when they deciding if a case should go to court. New guidance says naked selfies, dating apps, and casual sex are covered in a wide-ranging Crown Prosecution Services (CPS) reviews. The CPS says prosecutors must understand that many teenagers believe sexting is a part of everyday life. It follows criticism over record low rape convictions in England and Wales. Landslide in Vietnam kills at least 20 military personnel. A landslide in Vietnam on Sunday killed at least 20 military personnel and left 2 missing, the local news media reported, following weeks of torrential rains and flooding that have devastated parts of the country and killed dozens of people. Iran hits back at US sanctions threat after arms embargo expiry. The news is from Tehran, the center of Iran. Tehran has hit back at a US threat of sanctions on anyone looking to make deals with Iran after the arms embargo on its military expired, saying Washington threats show the futility of US actions and rhetoric on sanctions. After a long-standing conventional arms embargo on Iran ended on Sunday despite Washington's opposition, US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo warned of consequences for any individuals or entities that conduct arms deal with Iran. Pompeo's remarks are the most important sign that not even he believes unilateral US sanctions have been successful and no have been reinstated. Spokesman of Iran's foreign ministry Saeed Khatibzadeh said on Monday, Iran continues to believe it can operate within the framework of international agreements. What they fear is Iran's return to the massive market of technology and arms experts. Khatibzadeh said, adding that Iran produces 90% of its defense needs locally and will mostly look to export arms rather than import them. United States legislators called on Egypt's El-Sisi to release prisoners. More than 50 United States politicians are calling on Egyptian President Abdul Fattah el-Sisi to release activists, journalists, lawyers, and prisoners of conscience. In a letter released on Monday, 55 congressional Democrats urged el-Sisi to release those unjustly detained for exercising their fundamental human rights. Another sad news is from Afghanistan. A mother waits for son held in Guantanamo Bay. An Afghani mother, Seher Bibi, has waited for her son to be released from Guantanamo Bay, where life for one of the last Afghan prisoners has been defined by hunger strikes, forced feedings, and isolation. Hundreds of detainees, including senior Taliban leaders, have been released from the notorious detention center run by the United States military. But Asadullah Harun, who was never been charged with a crime, remains over there. No one is bothered about my son still being in Guantanamo Bay. All the other prisoners have been released, but he is still languishing there, Bibi told to a news channel in the northwestern city of Peshawar, where the family lives as refugees. The mom says that, I have no more patience, I have lost my mind. Harun was working as a honey trader traveling between Peshawar and eastern Afghanistan's Jalalabad when he was arrested in 2006, and what his family claims was likely a trap to claim a cash reward for fighters. The United States government alleges he was a courier linked to Al-Qaeda and served as a commander with a Hizb Islami group. His family lawyer and supporters insist he had no links to Al-Qaeda. Let's move to North Korea treats detainees as worthless than animals, says Human Rights Watch. Torture, humiliation, confessions and hunger appear to be fundamental characteristics of the North Korean pre-trial detention system. Human Rights Watch said on Monday, citing testimony from former officials and detainees held in the country since Kim Jong-un took power in 2011. Human Rights Watch's 88-page report adds to the documentation of widespread rights abuses in North Korea's opaque criminal justice system by United Nations investigations, who in 2014 said the country's supreme leader, Kim, and its security chief should face justice for ordering systematic torture, starvation, and killing that were comparable with the Nazis' era atrocities. Bolivia's election. Exit poll suggests win for Luis Arce. Exit poll suggests socialist candidate Luis Arce to sit to win Bolivia's presidential election. The polls indicate that Mr. Arce, who is an ally of exiled former President Evo Morales, has won enough votes to stave off a second round. Mr. Arce has said he will form a government of national unity. There are deep divisions in Bolivia after last year's controversial election, which ended in allegations of fraud and the exile of Mr. Morales. And today's last important news is from northern Cyprus. Right-wing nationalist Ersin Tatar elected president. Right-wing nationalist Ersin Tatar has won the presidential election in Turkish-controlled northern Cyprus. Mr. Tatar, who is pro-Turkey and wants the divided Mediterranean island to be two separate states, received nearly 52% of the votes. His opponent and incumbent leader Mustafa Akinci sought reunification with the Greek part of the island. Cyprus has been divided since 1974, when Turkey invaded the north after a military coup backed by Greece. The island was effectively partitioned, with the northern third run by a Turkish Cypriot government and the southern two-thirds by the internationally recognized government led by Greek Cypriots. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who supported Mr. Tatar during his elections campaign, congratulated him on his victory. Thank you for watching Al Caliph TV, and be with us for further informative news all around the world.